everybody. This is Mike Lung over at Allendale's Trading Floor. It is Tuesday, September 29th. Starting day off with the red across the screen with some money flowing into those precious metal markets at this time. But you get energies, equities a bit lower here on the day, with the grains also a bit lower. Corn and beans both about 4 lower. So we'll be watching a few things here today. Maybe we established a range here in corn yesterday with an outside day that was able to hold. And beans continue to slide lower. You got the lower low, lower high. Something to be paying attention to, something we'll bring up on the technical part. Crop progress out yesterday. Corn 15% harvested, beans 20% harvested, and wheat planting 35% completed. We'll be watching for this quarterly grain stocks report tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. Should be some kind of a market mover. Typically, we do see a decent sized movement off the numbers we generate from this report. So when we're looking at the fundamental stories today, you got a supply number that seems to be what trade is completely focused on. They're looking at the harvest that's coming out and realizing we're just about at the time frame of the year that we are sitting on the most amount of grain that we will at any point in the year. So we're going to be watching harvest, seeing how that keeps going along, seeing if it remains dry and farmers can continue to get out there and get the crop out of the field. We've continued to see these flash sales every morning, but as of Thursday, China will be on Golden Week, and something we could expect to see very minimal buying from China during that 7-day time frame. You can always talk about the dryness concerns down in South America, but is it a little too early to really be overly worried about that at this time? And especially with Brazil now more competitive than the U.S. For beans. And what could support us here today is this retreating dollar, but something you definitely want to monitor is this potential head and shoulders bottom on the dollar chart, which we could be retesting. So that 10-day moving average, which coincides with the neckline, should be an interesting point to watch here today. On the corn technical picture, you do see that outside day we were talking about earlier went down to the 200-day, was supported and went up to the 10-day and resisted that point. So we might be finding a bit of a range that we'll be trading going into that quarterly grain stocks report here tomorrow. But on the technical picture, that outside day didn't really look anything overly bullish with the failure to close above Friday's highs. You have the potential for now a head and shoulders in the mix, with yesterday not only being the neckline but also the right shoulder. So definitely something to be paying attention to. If you do get a break and close that 10-day moving average, could negate that head and shoulders top that we're looking at. So a couple things we'll be looking at there. Corn. On the bean side of things, lower lows, lower highs, seeing this nice V top on this chart at this time. You could be looking at the low that we paused at here as some support in the meantime before that quarterly grain stocks report. Maybe not looking at putting too much risk on the table before we see those numbers, but we do have stochastics that are pointing lower. Open interest, surprisingly, starting to increase a little bit here. So something we can pay attention to on that side of things. On the wheat side of things, finding a range where we have found it multiple times before, right around this 200-day moving average. So this will be a big key, getting it close below that for further sustained downside, or we could be looking at it as a bounce off point, finding support around it. But if you guys want a more detailed look, please take a look at our trade recommendations page on our premium research content. It'll have more in depth along with trade recommendations to be paying attention to. On the livestock side of things, choice and select were down yesterday, with cutouts being higher for the hogs. Shows came in at 7,100 higher, with a average cash trade last week of 104.98. We're looking at this cattle market, and we're seeing a bit of sideways choppy trading right along this 200-day moving average. Seems to be a decent sized support, with not quite getting above this 112.50 to 90 area. Looking at this point to be topping us out, which did on the first run up before we made this high earlier on in the year. So we're watching that, trying to see if this market gives us some kind of directional movement, or if we're going to continue to see this choppy trade going forward. On the hog side of things, very similar story. You're seeing choppy trade go on sideways, starting to see these moving averages start to move a little bit flat, which is showing just that sideways choppy trading range that we're talking about. So we'll again be watching for a breakout, some kind of directional movement that could be telling us which way the trade wants to start trending. And like we said earlier, there's a quarterly grain stocks report. Make sure you check out our snapshot. You can sign up for it online, allendale-inc.com. It's a great product. Steve and Rich put a lot of time in to make sure that you guys have all the information you need in order to go into this report. So for $1, it's a steal. Go online, allendale-inc.com. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 800-262-7538. But today for Allendale, this is Mike Lung. You guys have a great trading day out there.